Well, first off, thank you all for coming out on a Friday night. I know it's been a long week for most of us. It was a short week. Monday being a holiday, it still felt long. But coming out on a Friday, I know some of y'all have driven quite some distance. What's the furthest we got? I know we got some folks from the Heights. I know we got Kingwood. We got, past the lake for Eddie. Eddie might be winning so far.
Cleveland.
Cleveland? Oh, Eddie's going to be close, buddy. I think Cleveland might have just took the lead there. Excellent dedication. So appreciate you all coming out for our Road to Jade event. First thing is, if you got one of these bad little boys, go ahead and put that sucker on silent or stun or vibrate or whatever you got. The other thing is, my sessions are interactive. That's how I like them to be. I'd like for y'all to help me with that. So if you have questions, about anything related to this business in any fashion, ask. That's what we're here for. This is to make you all successful. Okay? So for y'all that don't know me, my name's Salge. Welcome to my home. Appreciate y'all being here. For some of the logistics, we've got 2 easy access restrooms. One is back behind the stairs to the left. Just as you're hitting the front doors, go to the left, and there's another one through the kitchen. First one that you come into, if you go in the wrong door, you'll go to the laundry room or you'll go to the garage, so can't miss it. If you need to take a phone call, I would suggest go to the backyard. It's more comfortable and I get better reception out there. So if you do have a phone call and you need to take that, there's all types of cushy chairs and we got the fan on, so you got that as well. I think that's it on logistics. For time on this, it usually goes about 2 hours for my Road to Jade events. Okay, with a bigger group, it might go a little bit longer. If you have to duck out, no worries at all. I know everybody's got all sorts of things going on in their life, so just feel free to excuse yourself and head on out. If you got an emergency or anything that pops up on that, take care of that. And then as far as end time though, that doesn't mean y'all got to leave at 9:30. All right, so when the event finishes up, it'll be done, but we usually stick around and talk for at least another 30 minutes to 2.5, 4 hours. The 8 o'clock soccer game got moved to 4, so we can stay up all night, so I'm good. Otherwise, y'all were going to be leaving at 10. All right, so what this event is for everybody. As you can see, we've got all sorts of different people here. We've got folks that have literally been in for a matter of a couple of days. We have people that have been in for a couple of years, all right, and everywhere in between. We have people that have never done network marketing before. We have people that have been doing this on a professional level in here. So we've got people that are students, we've got grandparents, we've got business owners, we've got everywhere in between. So I want everybody to know that this is an inclusive, welcome group, and I want you guys to succeed. So ask questions. If you don't ask questions, I'm good, but I'm not mind reader Jedi level just yet. Sometimes I can anticipate, but ask if you got a question. The goal of today, when we get done with this, is each and every one of you that takes action with me today will have completed and done what we do in this business. There won't be anything else that you have to do after this. You'll walk out of here and you will have successfully driven this car. Okay? I use a lot of car analogies for y'all that don't know me. I use a lot of analogies, period. But there's a good car one that I use right now, and that one is for anything you're going to do, whether it's business, whether it is network marketing, whether it's brushing your teeth, whatever. You got to first have a destination that you want to get to, something that you want to achieve. Okay? By implication of that, you got to know where you currently are. So if you're here and you want to get to there, you got to know where there is. The second thing that you got to have is a vehicle. Now you can use your feet, but that's not as much fun. We're in Houston. If we want to go to Miami, we've got the destination figured out. It's a lot better to take a car or an airplane or a helicopter than it is to walk. Okay? So if they say, hey, we're going to Miami, cool, we're walking. Good luck with that. And you don't leave the house. Okay? So you got to have a vehicle. The next thing is you got to know how to operate the vehicle. And that's the one that usually gets everybody. Everybody's got a pretty decent idea that they want something, that they desire something. The problem is they either don't have a vehicle, or if they do have the vehicle, they don't know how to drive it. When we walk out of here today, you're going to not only know that you have the vehicle, and then we have some people here that are guests that haven't joined yet. But for the most part, most of you have already joined the business and you have your car, you have your vehicle. What you're lacking is how to drive it, and drive it very well. And that's what we're going to walk out of here doing. Now, some of you have been driving and, you know, running into trees and getting whiskey dents and all kinds of stuff on your car. And that's why y'all are here. And good for you for being here, because if you haven't succeeded in doing it, keep coming back. So don't think that if this is your first one, this is the last one that you're going to come to. You need to keep coming to it until you got it. And then after that, you're going to be sitting in my seat and you're going to be teaching it to your organization and to your group. Okay, and that's how this thing goes, if you choose to. If that freaks you out, like, I'm never sitting up there doing that, that's cool. You don't have to with the way we build this, okay? Just know that you're gonna at least be organizing and inviting people to it. All right, so if one of y'all wouldn't mind grabbing those sheets of paper, and I don't know if I got enough for everybody, so if you've already got one of these,
I got them.
you got something? Cool, let's make sure everybody gets one then. So, you got something? I love y'all, y'all are great. And if you already got one, you don't need another one, you know what this is. So, yeah, just grab one and then hand the whole stack and just let it make its rounds. And I know all of y'all online have the plan on a page. If you don't, you can go to the Power Hour webpage. And I'll share that real fast so you know where that's at.
On the Power Hour, he's about to show you the Power Hour.
So the first thing for your notes is, if you don't know this website, write down that website. Okay? Perfect. So to make this even easier, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure you're in our communication channel where you'll actually be able to get this. Okay? This one that's in blue. So this is the Power Hour website. And on this webpage is the file that you're looking at right now. It's called the Plan on a Page. If you've got a system that is more complex than a single page, then it might be a little too complex. The goal of this is so that you have a single page that shows you everything you're going to need to do to be successful in this business. Now, obviously, each one of these steps, there's a whole lot that can go in behind that, and we're going to talk about that today. But this is what you need. This is what we're going to fill out. This is what you're going to take action off of. Okay? Is the plan on a page. So, what I mentioned a second ago, you got to know your destination, where you want to go. You need to have a vehicle to get there. You need to know how to drive the vehicle. We're going to start with the first part. Where do you want to go? What is your destination? Jake wants to go up. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend a little time on this. This is something that I truly, honestly know in my heart after doing this for close to a decade. I'm on 2 magazine covers. Those magazines are sitting there. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that so that you'll actually listen to me, that I know what I'm talking about. I've been there, done that, and I've got the 2 magazines to prove it. I was with another company that was in the top 350 out of 350,000 people in that company. That's top 0.1%. Again, I'm not saying this to brag and pat myself on the back. I'm saying this so that you will plug in with me here tonight. We've got this thing baked. We know how this thing works. All it takes is you jumping in this car, slamming on the gas, and try to keep it between the ditches. That's what we do. All right? So this document is what we're going to fill out. The why is the most important portion of this. After all the years I've been doing this, if you don't get this nailed down, it doesn't matter what comes out of my mouth for the rest of the night. If you don't have a place you're going to want to go really bad, then it's not going to matter. You're going to get frustrated. Life is going to happen. It's still planet Earth. This isn't magic beans. This is a vehicle, and I'm going to show you how this vehicle works. But even in a vehicle, there's going to be some obstacles down the road. There's going to be trees that fall down in your path. There's going to be blowouts in the tire. There's going to be 2 blowouts, and then you get it towed. You're going to blow an engine. You're going to have to rebuild it. It's going to happen. You're going to get there where you thought you were going. It's going to be closed. You've got to come up with another place to go to. All these things are going to happen. And if you don't want to go to Miami bad enough, you're going to throw in the towel and go back home. And you're going to let that nice shiny car sit there and rust on the driveway. And that happens to a lot of people and a lot of things on planet Earth, not just this profession. You take any profession, you take anything, there are just a few people that are successful in that. What's everybody else doing? They're sitting out there in their little rubber dinghy, their little inner tube, sitting in the ocean of life. They got one hand in the water. They're doing stuff. They're paddling with one hand. They're going in circles and not actually getting anywhere. That's how most people go through. What we want to do is make sure you know where you're going. So we're going to spend time on that. So who wants to be a volunteer with me? I will warn you, it's probably going to get emotional. Who's scared now? We're all, yes. Dude, she's going to be my match on this one. So Miss Tina Marie is a rock star, just so y'all know. She is a life coach. She is awesome. She just joined the business about 2.5, 3 weeks ago now. Probably 3 weeks, maybe 2 today. And she's already hit Jade, a little bit over halfway to Pearl, and doing great. Her and Jackie are awesome. I got to meet them. Jackie is a chiropractor. They have a wonderful practice down in the Heights, and I've already seen her in action, so this is going to be good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, and if you don't mind, I didn't really think this through, but bring a chair, because I want the people online to be able to hear. And then we're going to grab that chair and just sit right here. Watch out for the cables. We are not OSHA certified right here.
Okay.
And then, Jake, can you move the camera just a little bit, looking up there to make sure she's in the picture as well? Yeah. We don't need to look at the page right now. Okay, perfect, excellent. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the why. And I'm going to go through a series of questions. And I want you all to follow along on how we do this, because what we're going to do after Tina Marie and I get done is we're going to pair up in the room and we're going to do this exercise as a group, okay? So y'all haven't done this before, this is going to be new for y'all, but I've been doing it a couple of times with a few people and really digging in. It's been very successful, and I'll be darned if I didn't start reading a book by Dean Graziosi. Like, there's Tony Robbins and then this guy. I'm reading his book and he starts talking about this stuff. Holy smokes. The terrorist that we're going to talk about later, yeah, he's got the villain in his. I'm like, that's really cool. So we're going to do this, and he had some really good ideas on it. So for your why. When Nozer and I were at the office and you saw this, what was the thing that you saw that said, this is going to help me get to this? What's your why? What's your thing that you're looking for?
Well, what I'm looking for is more financial, money coming in, obviously, the vehicle there.
Perfect.
And the why is that I looked at what I was already doing and how I was going to get there, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I'm committed to that. However, I need to get there faster.
Gotcha.
For where I am. I'm reaching a big milestone next year, and I said I want to enjoy my life and not work so big.
Yes. Anybody relating to this?
And I know that I'll build what I'm doing, and it's just some days it's just work.
Yeah.
And what I saw here was the vehicle is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the money back into the field, and it feels as though I can get there a lot faster than what I'm doing right now.
Love it. Why do you want to get there faster?
There's a lot of people I want to help, and not just people, but my family.
Yeah, very good.
And so we have a mom that's got dementia, and we're tired of her being in a nursing home. And, if we had an extra $5,000 a month, she'd be in a personal care home, and she'd have somebody dedicated to her, and she wouldn't be needing to be in a home where we don't like that that's where she's living. That's
Why is that important?
The people that take care of us, who wants them to rock in a nursing home? I mean, it just feels inhumane. And I sleep, and I watch Jackie sleep with this, or not sleep with it. I go, if it were my dog, and I know that it's a weird comparison, but if it were my dog and my dog's ill and aging, would I put my dog in a crate and just go, here, here's some food and water, and no. And then, we need to work. We need to work and make the money and keep it coming in. And by everything we've seen, it's $5,000 or more per month to get the level of care that she deserves it.
Yeah. Yep.
And none of the other siblings are stepping up.
Yeah. Gotcha. Why else is the money important?
I want to take the money and put it back into my
Yeah. Why do you want to put it in business? What's the, because I know there's lots of that, but.
Yeah. There's, I have on my board, my whiteboard, which you see my whiteboard. You
It's awesome.
come in and you write on my whiteboard. He's so tall, I can't erase it.
She has the whole wall, has a special coating on it, so the whole wall is a whiteboard.
The whole wall.
And it doesn't look like a whiteboard, it's just a whiteboard. It's so,
It looks like it's painted, but you can write on it. And so I have to get on a chair. But on the part that isn't erased is I want to positively affect and inspire the lives of 1 million people in this year. And I've been reading that ever since January 2nd when I wrote it up there.
yeah.
And it feels like I can't get there fast enough.
Why is 1 million people important to you to be able to impact?
What I have to share can and has saved lives. And I teach a polisher saboteur, and I get that saboteur out of their head. And I'm tired of people taking their lives. I'm absolutely tired of it. And it needs some capital to get in there for the marketing and the plan to get it out there. And so this is going to have a ripple effect into the world.
Why?
For even more people.
I get that did y'all feel the difference in what she just said? It got real all of a sudden, right? Like all the other stuff, absolutely real. But that, whoa, goosebumps.
It's more than a car. I joked with you.
Oh, yeah. We all started there.
With the car. I
Why-
can have a car.
Why is that organization important to you? Why is health and safety become that important to you?
I almost took my own life. At the age of 40, I had the gun in my hand. And I know what that is like. And I'm here because I did it. Right?
Awesome.
And I know lots of people that have, personally. And I don't want to see it. And it's not even just that. I mean, that's the culmination of what happened. I mean, that's the end point, right? But then there's the self-doubt and the pain and the suffering and the stuff that goes inside of our heads that nobody knows about. And I know that there's programs that can help them, and I need money to get that there, you know? And I'm dedicated to it. I'm relentless. People go, why do you work as much as you work? You don't have to. I want to. It's not a have to. It's a must. And I stay up weekends. I'm always on the phone with people. I've got a young girl right now. She's in a really dire straits, and I'm getting her in a new home because she needs to be outside of an abusive relationship. And that's why I do it. It's not because I need to. None of us need to do the things that call to our soul. And Kyani, the tribe, the energy, the coolness of it, I'm like, one, it's simple. I can do simple. I do not like complicated. I want simple. And it's working, you know? And I am not going to miss the sunset. Never again. And the pain's leaving my body.
Yeah.
You know? And I want to be part of something that has a great inspirational story too, giving back. And so it's the ripple effect. And I know Abolish will, you know, it's migrating into Unleash Your Extraordinary. So that's where the next program is. And that's what Kyani's funding.
I told you I was going to get emotional for me, not everybody else. Do you see how powerful that is? It starts off with money, but that doesn't do anything for anybody. I'm going to get my stuff put together in a second. What's it called, Linda?
Unleash the extraordinary. Is that?
Unleash Your Extraordinary.
That's
Oh,
what it is. Thank you.
Unleash Your Extraordinary, yeah. Hashtag.
I love it. So, who can write down their why right now? Cool. I'd like everybody to fill in that box first. And don't let that box, feel free to break the rules and go outside the lines. And you can use the back of your page too. And we've got more if you need.
Anybody need a pen?
Everybody take 2-3 minutes to get that written in and fill that in. All right. You might not be completely done, but you got off to a very good start. Anybody have a blank in their box right now? Anybody? Oh, good. Wonderful. All right. So here's what I want to do. I want to dig in. If you notice that what I was doing with Tina Marie is that each one of the levels that she was talking about, all of it was real. All of it was exactly what she desires to accomplish. But as we continued down, it went from here into here. We all start giving the answer that our brain gives us. It's the nice label, it sounds good, it's one of those nice generic ones, or maybe it's specific, but it's not got all of the emotion attached to it. And then by the time you get down and you keep asking, you'll notice each time I said, why is that important to you? Find the important part out of what the other person says and keep digging into that. Keep going down that path to be able to find out what truly is deep in there. And as you do that, each layer that you go down gets more and more real. Some of y'all might be thinking, I didn't know I was going to like a seminar. I thought I was coming to learn how to do Kyani. It is. If you don't get this figured out, I guarantee you, the one guarantee I'll make you is you will not be long-term successful in this business if you don't get this figured out. You're going to have good days. Those are easy. It's the tough days. This is for the tough days. This is so that no matter what, you're going to get it done. You got to make sure that this why is so deeply ingrained that nothing is going to kick you out of the game. And that's what this exercise is for. So each one of these levels, as you go down, is going to keep on digging and keep on digging and keep on digging. So the way you keep on digging is you ask your partner that you're going to be partnered up here with a second is, why is that important to you? And then when you hear that, that's great. Don't ever tell anybody, no, that's not it. Yes, that is it for them. But go deeper and keep digging and keep digging. And all of that combined is going to be the why. So what we're going to do is we're going to pair up. And we're going to make this easy. I'm not going to tell you to go talk to somebody you've never talked before. Just closest person that you can. Partner up. And I want you to spend about 2.5 to 3 minutes with the first person. One of you pick who's going to go first. Ask them their why. One of you is going to interview. The other one's going to be talking. If you're interviewing, do your best to jot down some of the big words as you're going through. You don't need to verbatim the whole thing, but write that somewhere if you can, or just really pay attention to what they're saying. And get the big words as you go into it of that was the big thing out of that sentence. And then help them go deeper with this. Okay? And if you're doing this right, I'm telling you, when you get down into it, you want to go 7 layers if you can. Sometimes it happens in 2, sometimes it happens in 3, but usually in 7 you're going to be there. Keep asking that as you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper to get that. After the song ends, it's a 3-minute song, and we're going to switch off and do it with the other person. Okay? Anybody confused on what we're getting ready to do? Any questions about it? All right, let's pair it up. And everybody please participate. And if there's odd, then I'll come help you out. All right, how was that for everybody? Good? Good? All right, who had moisture coming out of their eyeballs? Good? Good. That's when it gets real. That's when it gets real. Good. Who has one that they want to share about the other person?
I will.
Let's do it.
Tell me your name again. Ramya is, she's looking for an opportunity to get rid of loans and debt. And the freedom where she's not having to work as hard as she does every day. And so I thought, oh, that sounds kind of like the rest of us, right? We all want to get rid of debt and loans and have some freedom and flexibility. So I kind of dug down a little bit to find out, so what are these loans and debt? And she has had to go back to Sri Lanka and take care of her parents for a number of years, and has been able, or has had to live on credit cards and so forth. So she has accumulated a lot of loans and debt, and because she went back to take care of her mother and father, her parents, until they passed. So she's looking for ways that she can recover from that. So that's one of those things that tugs at your heart, you know.
Thanks for sharing. All right. So a lot of times you'll hear people talk about doing vision boards for their why, figuring out what it is that you want to achieve and then doing a vision board. A vision board needs to be something that you do. I'm a huge believer in them. but it has to have the emotion that's attached to it that these stories are bringing. So when you figure out what your why is, and you find a picture that can relate to that, keep refining that picture unless you just get like some amazing artist to sit there with you and just draw it out. But keep doing this process. Keep going through this to find something that you can look at, not just these words, because it's easy, very easy to get distracted and on to the next thing in your day, and you stop thinking about your destination, about your why. You're focused on the wall. You keep driving into the wall when you focus on the wall. If you see a pothole, you focus on the pothole and you hit the pothole. Look away from the pothole. Look at where you want to go. Look at the destination you want to go to. So being able to look at that, having a picture is great to have a representation of that. But make sure it gets down into the depth that these stories are offering, that's getting the emotion out of you and out of the person that's telling them. That's where it comes from. You have to dig in to get that figured out. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, let's move on, because we could spend all night just talking about this part. But I want to get into some more of the driving of the car. We know where we want to go now. You know exactly the destination. Now, it's going to change. I heard somebody's changed over here. We did this exercise 3-4 weeks ago. It's changed. You up for sharing?
Okay.
Cool, go for it.
It's always been to help as many people as possible to have a healthier lifestyle, or people that are ill, to see that they can use an all-natural product and not have to take medications. And I always knew I wanted to retire from my job to be able to do that, but Don and I were doing this after Casey was at the house, and our son has Down syndrome, and I would like to be able, because he's high functioning, once they get out of high school, there's really nothing for them to connect them with other high functioning Down syndrome adults. And he's lonely. And I think it would be really neat to be able to make some type of group or where they could come together and meet, and because I mean he wants to get married, he wants a life like everyone else, and he is so high functioning that when he goes to other events, he's not interested in the other handicapped girls. But there was a Down syndrome girl in high school that was high functioning, and they did some things together, and they've moved since then. But to connect, so there's a place where they can do activities and do things.
That's awesome. Cool. That's powerful. Powerful. Y'all think there's any chance that she's not going to hit that destination? Forget about it. It's done. So, that's why we do it. That's why we do this, to figure out where we're going. So how do we drive the car? First, you got to believe in the car. Does anybody have any doubt about this product working in absolutely unbelievable, crazy, like magic beans level? Does anybody have any questions about that? Awesome, Gerald. Does anybody have any question that this product does what everybody's talking about it doing? That's the easy part of what we do. Y'all have to take a moment and pause and reflect on how profound that is. We're here for a business presentation about how to do a business. I haven't had to talk about formulations. I haven't had to talk about how you take the stuff. I didn't have to talk about the packaging. I'm not going to either. You're not going to see, unless somebody brought one, or you dig in my cabinet over there, you're not going to see Kyani sitting out for everybody to be able to go, oh, we've already done that part. Take a second to figure out how big of a deal that is. You're in a business that you don't have to do all those things. Multi-billionaires took care of that for you. You're in business with them. You are their partners. That's crazy good. So have the appreciation of that part being done. Now, you're going to have to call in consultant support every once in a while. That's not going to be pleasant, because it's consultant support. You're not calling to say, hi, I'm glad y'all are having a good day. You probably have a problem, and that's why you're calling. So don't get bent out of shape about that part when you have to call in every once in a while for it. I promise you, they might not fix it that second, but I have yet to go through that they haven't made it right in the end. So know that you are a partner with a company that will make it right no matter what. I've been very, very, very excited about that. Yes, sir.
So I have a little story about customer support.
Yeah.
So I was working to get to Jade, and I called in trying to figure out exactly, how far away I was and where I had to put my points and, all that kind of stuff. And the lady said, and so she explained it to me, and I was just like, there's just no way I'm going to get there. And then she called me back and said, all you have to, she went back and checked with her supervisor and then called me back and then said, okay, what you need to do, I was wrong about what I was telling you. What you need to do is you need to get this many points in this leg right here. And it was like 200 points, okay? And so they, in the end, they made it right.
Yeah.
Very
That's awesome.
cool.
I love that.
Very cool.
So now that we believe in the car, and the car is going to get you there, I want to spend time now on how do you drive the car. And that's the rest of what's on your paper. So you've got your why. And for the factory, the Jade Factory that we label ourselves as, and I'll just describe this real quick. In the organization you have Kyani, it's the company. And then there's a couple of big teams. There's the Dream Team, there's Team Fusion, okay? We are in the Team Fusion side of the things. Underneath Team Fusion, there's different organizational structures that go in within that too. We're a part of a group called Kairos, which is Miles Stout. He's a green diamond multimillionaire in the business already. He's 27 years old. We're in his organization.
What's it called?
Kairos, Kairos, okay? And then underneath of that, you've got my organization, which is called the Jade Factory, okay? Now, the Jade Factory, the way that I built this is it's not exclusive. It's for anybody that wants to join us to be able to do this. There are people here that are not in my direct organization. You just heard from one of them a second ago. Who here is not directly in my organization? Raise your hand. Cool. So you'll see that it's wide open. I don't care. I didn't ask you when you came in, hey, are you in Team Fusion? Are you in Jade Factory? Are you in no, I don't care. Everybody's welcome. Now, the way I do things, I will be the first to tell you, it's not exactly how everybody else does it. Okay? I've been there, done that. I've done all of the private business receptions. I've done the hotel events. I've done all of those things. I choose to do this differently. And we built a system that allows you to do it differently. And it's a very powerful system. This is God's honest truth. I don't care how you do your business. It is your business. I would highly recommend that you do it this way. Of course, because it's my idea, and that's what we're doing. But it is absolutely up to you and how you want to do your business. I want that to be the very first thing. If you don't like how we go about doing things, completely good. Do it however you want to. But I'm absolutely welcoming everybody to follow this on how we go about doing it. And that's what I'm going to teach tonight on how we go about doing it. Because I firmly believe, and I've proven this out time and again, that this way is more effective. It's extremely more effective. And the reason it's effective is that it pays attention to the other person that you're chatting with. If you look on your piece of paper right now, you'll notice that the most important thing is that top box. That's your why. We just spent the last 35, 40 minutes on that. Okay? After you get that clear, the next focus that we're going to have is on everybody else. It's not about you anymore. Okay? You get started because of you. We just talked about all the reasons why you got started and why you're doing this. Once you get that clear, it can't be about you anymore. I'll give you an example. You ever go and have a conversation with somebody or maybe go to lunch and you haven't seen them in a while and they call you up and ask how you're doing? And y'all talk real briefly and you get to the table and they ask how you're doing and you're about a sentence, maybe two into it, and they interrupt you and they start talking about themselves. Anybody ever experienced that? In the last 3 days? How annoying is that? You know they don't give a damn about what you had to say. They wanted an audience so that they could talk about how important they are. Honestly, that's how it goes. And chances are at some point in our lives we were that guy. We did that to the other person. It's a very common thing that happens. what I want to do is bring awareness to that, and I want you to focus in on that feeling that you have right there. If you take this business and you go to people and you try to make it all about you selling this to people, they're going to have that feeling. The only reason that they won't have that feeling is if they're in such dire straits, health-wise or money-wise, that they are like a drowning person in a pool that needs a life preserver. That's going to be about the only reason they're going to latch onto it. Otherwise, they're going to push away because you're trying to get something from them. Have you ever felt hunted before? You ever come into a store and they're just pitching, and you're just like, dude, I'm just looking, man, chill. Because you don't feel comfortable yet. The way we go about doing things in our organization is that we don't want that to happen. We want to make this about the other person. We want to find out ultimately what they need. When you focus on somebody else's needs, they're going to know that. That's going to build a bond. There's going to be a relationship that is there. This is relationship marketing. This is not billboard advertising. Okay? This is not getting a radio spot on the radio and blasting this out. This is not going to Facebook. Have you ever seen those ads on Facebook? You know those? Those that they are so very much about you. But yet, how can they be? Because they never asked a question. They never stopped talking. You don't want to be that guy. There is a place for that in certain organizations to be able to do that. We build it differently. We build it truly based on the relationship to find out what the other person wants. So as soon as you, now Casey, why did we spend the last 45 minutes talking about what we want? Because you got to start there. That's what's the fuel in the tank. And then after that, you have to shift your focus to the other guy. So what we're going to do here, on this plan on a page, let's look at it a little bit. You got your why on top. And the next thing you know is you see 5 boxes that have name next to it. Then after that, you see 5 boxes that have bio and phone number. Then you have 5 boxes that say rapport. And then you have 5 boxes that have peak. And then you have 5 boxes that have edify and pass. So we're going to focus on one of these columns for now. When it's all said and done, we're ultimately going to get to where we fill out this whole page. And ultimately after that, I want you to do this for 4 total pages. That would give you 20 names. Everybody follow the math there. Okay? So the first thing that I want everybody to do, this is going to be easy. I need you to fill out the 5 boxes with a name in each box of somebody that you know. Go ahead and write that in right now. A name in each box. When you got your 5 names written down, look up and look at me. Jake's done. Tina Marie's done. Liz is done. All right, we're rolling. Good. Who here is stuck right now? Raise your hand for me real fast. Who's stuck? Who doesn't have 5 names right now? Who doesn't have any names written in? Anybody? What happens on this is where I want to introduce our favorite little friend called the terrorist. Your terrorist, if you don't have names filled out yet, chances are your terrorist got a hold of you. He's a mean little bastard. The terrorist is that voice in your brain that's talking to you right now, telling you why these people that you wrote their name down is not going to do this business. What are they going to think about this? The exercise was write down 5 names. It wasn't think about 5 people and mull it over for 20 minutes and think if they're going to join the business. It was write down 5 names. So one of the important things to know about when you're driving this car is don't get hung up on how when you turn the wheel this way that the linkage goes through the firewall that goes into the alignment that goes into the steering column. And don't worry about how all that stuff works. Just know that when you do this with the wheel, the car goes out there. Just know that when you slam on the brake, you stop. You don't need to know how it all happens. When you need 5 names, write down 5 names. What happens on this is that terrorist. Let me talk about this little guy real quick. Everybody's got a terrorist in their brain. He's in there right now. I think he sits on this shoulder and he talks into this ear, and he's constantly, or she is constantly, it's she. I'm always curious, is it a girl for a girl and a guy? I didn't know how that worked. But anyway, whatever that voice is that's going on, some of you are like, what voice? That voice. That's your voice. That's the one that talks to you 80,000 times a day. No, 70,000. 70,000 times a day. Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine another human being talking to you 70,000 times? I mean, my daughter tries, but she talk. She might be up to like a couple hundred. 70,000 times your voice is talking to you a day. Some of y'all didn't even know you had one of those voices. That's how easy it is for that thing to distract you onto something else. That's the one and the only thing that holds you back. I promise you. The only thing that holds you back is that voice. Or the only thing that empowers you to do some absolutely amazing things. You got to get a handle on your little terrorist. You got to turn your terrorist into a hero.
Yep.
Now, my thoughts on it, and I'm kind of a graphic guy and I like war movies, so you need to pink mist his head. And get him out of your life as quick as you can. Now, here's what I found. He is resilient. He's like a video game. He just pops back up the next quarter you put in. He keeps coming back. So all you can really do is temporarily wound him, I found. Now, I hope to get to a point where he's gone completely, but I don't know if it's possible. But you gotta get that little fella out of your brain. He's the one that said, don't write that name down, they're not gonna do this. Don't write that name down, they're not gonna be interested in this. They make too much money, they're completely healthy, they go to the gym all the time. They drive great cars, big house, they don't need anything. Don't ever prejudge that based on that little voice. Okay? When he shows up or she shows up, here's what you gotta do. Just recognize it. When you recognize it, you'll find the absurdity of it, and then it's gone for a little bit. And when you're focused on that, you can't be focused on your destination of where you want to go. Some of y'all, when you were writing down your whys, he was already getting on you on your whys. Oh, what, $1 million a week? Are you insane? You don't need that. Anybody have that conversation with themselves earlier?
I need that.
When that happens, you gotta go, who's driving the car here? Me or you? You need to be the one driving. Because if you're not, I promise you he is or she is. Okay? So make sure that doesn't get in the way of the names that go here. Next thing I want you all to do is, everybody got 5 names written down? Yep, good. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to write down how you know them. Do you know them from work? Do you know them from school? Do you know them from church? Childhood friend, next door neighbor.
You want to put that beside it? And
Put that in the bio and phone number box just below. You might be wondering, why do I need to write this stuff down? I'm getting you to focus on them. Okay. Next thing I want to do now is, for this person, chances are, the first 5 that you write down, chances are they're probably somebody that you know. Okay, good. Y'all got the joke. Good. Now, the level that you know them is going to be determined by this next box, the rapport box. What we want to do is we want to understand this person. We want to shine a light on this person. We want to know, what does this person need? What does this person desire? Now, they might desire something outside of these 4 little check marks that are here. If that's the case, that's cool. Be their friend and find a way to help them with something else they desire. But for what we're doing here, for the driving of this car, for the Kyani car, what we want to do is find out, are they interested in wealth, health, time, or significance? And obviously you can check more than one box. Some people are going to want all of them. Some are just going to want one. Some you're not going to know. If you can't check a box for these people, that's okay. That means you need to have a conversation with them. You need to ask them some questions. What's interesting is if you've known this person for a long time and you don't know which box to select for them, then maybe you've been doing most of the talking at lunch. Sorry. That one might sting a little. Everybody understand that? Now, once you check the box, which is what I want you to do next, you'll notice that there's space there for about 2 lines. We don't have enough room here for writing War and Peace or anything like that, but write down why you put a check mark next to that line. If you put a check mark on wealth, then write down why you think they would be interested in money. Talking to you, Brian.
Wash your clothes.
That was fun. Brian's like, tell me somebody else is hearing that. So fill this out for those 2 boxes, the 2 names that you wrote down, the bios. At least do this for 2 of your people here. If you got more, go ahead and do more. How many of those check marks are there? And then why did you select those check marks? Now these are your assumptions. This is based on your opinion of this person. Have you ever had false assumptions before? Thought you knew somebody and whoopsies, that was wrong. So one of the things that you want to do and get good at is focusing in on take a shot at what you think is going on with this person, but always ask the question. Don't say it as if it's a foregone conclusion. Hey, you're kind of strapped for cash, right? I mean, you're not really happy with your apartment, and that's not really something. No, don't go that way. Go back to the one, hey, you remember when you were telling me the other day that you were thinking about maybe moving or getting into somewhere else? What was that? Oh, you don't like your apartment? Why don't you like your apartment? It's too expensive? Okay. So not really enjoying the job? Job's not really getting enough money out to you? Gotcha. How long have you been doing that? Is that something you want to keep doing, or you got some ideas on getting out of this job or going somewhere else? You do? You just don't really know where to go? Okay. See how that conversation flows a whole lot easier? That whole time it's been talking about them, and it's a true interest in them. In the back of your mind, you've got these 4 pillars that's going to anchor the conversation. Start with the one that you think is their thing. If you go down to a dead-end road talking about wealth, try health. How's your health? How you been? How's everybody feeling in the family? When you have those conversations, you can keep digging down that path too. So you're making an assumption with what you're writing down. You need to test this assumption with people. Okay? This is where everybody starts freaking out when it's time to drive the car. We were good up to this point. Your terrorist has now appeared. Getting a little nervous, getting a little warm in here, not quite sure I'm ready to talk to somebody about this thing. So let me alleviate any concerns about what's going to happen and tell you the future of how this goes down. You're going to have a conversation with your friends and people that you know, love, and trust. That's why their names are on here. If you don't like these people, you don't have to contact them. Okay? Plain and simple. Scratch out their name, put a new name in that box. Okay? When you're having these conversations with these people, you need to have a genuine interest in them. I don't know much about everybody here. We haven't had in-depth conversations, each and every one of us. A lot of us have, and I know a lot about you. But when you're having these conversations with them, if this is not normal for you to do so, some people are like, I don't really ask these questions, I don't have these talks, it's really not my thing. Make it your thing. To drive this car effectively, you need to make this your thing. Plain and simple. If that kicks you out of the business, it kicks you out of the business. But you got to make it about the other person if you're going to be successful. Just be a customer otherwise. If you're not interested in truly figuring out what makes them tick, to be able to help them, I'm going to tell you up front, this is going to be a bumpy road. Plain and simple. Everybody in here has the ability to be successful in this business. You just got to care about the other person. And you can keep getting better at that. And you start by asking questions. When somebody has a true, genuine interest in you, you don't have a problem chatting with them. When you're having a conversation with somebody and they're asking you questions and you know it's because they're trying to get to a thing and they're not interested in what you're actually saying, that's kind of irritating. I've had vendors where I've sat down with them at lunch and we go through the same basic, how was your weekend? Have you taken any trips? Have you been to any Astros games or Texas games or Rockets games? And how's your family? And I can't even finish the first answer before they're ready to ask me the second one. So that we can get through all the stuff so that we did our small talk and built rapport so that they can get to selling me their thing. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, then I just start making shit up. I have fun with it. Yeah. So make sure that when you're talking to other people, that you're having a true, meaningful conversation. When you ask them how their family is, don't let the next question pop in your head. Focus on them. Get the whole answer. Sit there, pause, look at them for a second. Let them wonder, like, what the heck's going on here? I'm just really feeling all of that. Don't go that far, that'd be weird. But find that art form of there, somewhere in between, when you're asking them those questions. Make sure you got the answer. Repeat it back to them, or let them know that you heard them. Let them know that you paid attention to what was going on. Spit some of that back out to them. Oh man, that sucked, man. That job, that didn't sound good at all. It's just a thing. Just have a conversation. So that's how this is going to go. You're going to have a conversation. You're going to, has anybody ever had a conversation with you where they just start sharing like some weird stuff, like some deep stuff all of a sudden? And you're like, we just met at lunch. And you're telling me just all kinds of stuff. If you'll sit there quietly for a little bit, people will fill in the blanks. They will tell you everything you need to know to fill out the report box. Okay? Have those conversations with that. Be like an FBI detective sitting there, getting all the good stuff, writing notes mentally. Not to use against them, to help them. To find out truly what they need, what's going on. The first thing they start talking about, pretty good chance that's a big deal for them. So have those conversations with them. That's what you're going to do. Once you find out what their thing is, then what you're going to do is find out, is that something that they would like to address? Do they want to fix it? Do they want to transform it? Do they want to get rid of that problem? Do they want to fix that sink? What's the issue? Do you want to fix it? Have you ever heard of anybody complaining and not really wanting to fix it? Again, in the last 3 hours? 4 hours, we've been here for a while, so it wasn't here. You run into people like that all the time. They just want to complain. They just want to whine. They don't want to do anything to fix it. Here's the deal. You're probably not going to be able to help them right now. That to me is probably the hardest thing about this business, is when, who here has thought of some people like, oh my God, this person needs this stuff bad. Yeah, this person needs some money, or this person, they're so unhealthy, they might not make it through the weekend. It's crazy. How many of those people, when you run into them, and you're going to ask them, how's your health? It's fine. Mm-hmm. Have you looked in the mirror? For real, you feel fine? Like you're good? Ask more questions. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, you know, I'm okay. Okay, you went from good to okay. How are you really feeling? Have a real conversation. Don't take that first answer. Dig. I'll be honest with you, I don't feel good at all. All right, you want to fix that, or you want to keep complaining about it? I just want to keep complaining about it. All right. You be you, baby. Next. That's why we write down 20 names. Because out of this list, I'm going to tell you right up front, there's going to be a whole bunch of them that even though they need to fix one of these boxes here, they ain't going to want it. And if they don't want it, it doesn't matter how bad you want it. You with me? Don't let them kick you out of this business. Those are the roadblocks we were talking about earlier. That's why this box up here has to be so big of a deal to you that when you run into your friends and family that don't want these things, don't desire these things, or do desire them but are too lazy to actually go do something about them, don't let that kick you out of that. Y'all get that?
Yep.
That's the most profound stuff I've said today so far. You've got to have that mindset. So when you're asking these questions, do you want to fix it? Then what's going to happen, just a preview on how these conversations are going to go, they're going to say, yeah, I want to fix it. Why? Why are you asking me this? What do you have? What's going on? What are you doing? Tell me something about what this thing is that you got in the back. I can see you're getting somewhere here. I'm curious, is what they're effectively saying. Do you want to fix that? They're saying yes. Some are going to say no. Now, when they say yes, you got to find out how bad they want it. You got to dial it in, somewhere between a 1 and a 10. If they're a 1, they don't really want to fix it. Cool, you keep dealing with that thing. You come back and drip on them a couple weeks later, say, hey, you still dealing with those back issues? Yeah, it's getting pretty bad. You still dealing with not being able to sleep? Yeah, it's getting pretty bad. You want to fix it now, or you want to keep dealing with that? You got something? I do. Man, I've tried everything. That's their terrorist on their shoulder talking noise. You've tried everything. This isn't going to work. Nothing's ever worked before. Da, 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 da. They keep them in that little box with a knife to their throat with their hair pulled back. That's what the terrorist does to people, you and to them. You got to fight through that with them. Look, man, don't get all off the rocker here. You haven't tried everything because you haven't tried this stuff. If you tried this stuff and everything else, then you tried everything. But you haven't tried everything. You tried a lot of other stuff that didn't work. Why is this going to work? Because something's going to work. Well, what if it doesn't? What if it does? Well, what if it doesn't? Well, then sit there and not sleep, man. That's on you. How about we at least talk to somebody about it? Okay. Who do I need to talk to? I got a guy. I need you to talk to my guy or my girl. Anybody go through that process with the person that brought you into this business? That's pretty powerful stuff, isn't it? They didn't sit there and explain it to you. If they did, they screwed up. That happens too, by the way. Sometimes you run over curbs in your car. It happens. You got to go fix the tires and the rims, and we'll get you back out on the road. So what you're going to do is you're going to pass this. You're going to ask questions about somebody else. You're going to find out what their hot button is. And when you figure that out, you're going to find out how bad they want to fix it. And then you're going to pass it to somebody else to handle the rest of it. You're done. That's the business. Any questions? Yeah. That's it. We're out. All right. Have a good night. Hour and 15 minutes.
Or you pass it only if it's wealth. If it's health, you just...
You can do both. So in the very beginning, if you don't know enough about the product, or you don't have a testimony yet to be able to share, then you can pass that to your upline business partner. Say, let me introduce you to somebody that can answer all those questions. What do you got? I got a guy, I got a girl. What do? They answer your questions. Well, why can't you? Because this isn't what I do. Here's how powerful that is. If you're over at somebody's house, you're at my house, you look over there, Brian starts breaking the refrigerator and starts breaking the sink, and it stops draining, let's say. And you look over and you go, oh man, your sink's screwed up. Yep, sure is. You can see the panic on my face. My wife's going to be home soon. I broke the sink. And then there's two options right there. Well, hey, you want me to go out to the truck and get my tools, my hacksaw and my socket wrench and my screwdriver? No, I prefer that you don't, actually. If you start answering all their questions, you're an amateur trying to fix their plumbing. And you're not a master plumber. You're a master at whatever it is you do for a living. What you do right now, you're really good at doing that. Keep doing that. Don't try to do this part too. You've done your part. You've met the person. You've got trust with them. Now it's time to pass them to the proof. Some of you want to go fix that sink. Don't do that. And the same way, the other option you can do is say, hey, your sink's messed up. You want me to call somebody for you? Why, you know somebody? I know somebody that can fix this. You want to talk to them? Yes, I do. My sink's pretty screwed up. I need to talk to them. But before we call, how much do they cost and what kind of can they be? I don't know, man. You want me to call him for you or not? Ask him that, not me. I'm just here passing some information along. That's your job. That's what you do. Does this make sense?
Yep.
That's our system. That's the factory. That's how we create Jade's. We're going to do a real quick little exercise here. Everybody put your papers down, get everything out of your hands. Feel free to stand up real fast if you want to shake it out. We've been sitting for a little bit. Let all the warmth go away, Kathy. Nice, stand up.
Protecting my.
There's blankets right there. All right, everybody good? If you're near somebody and you know them, you can rub their shoulders.
Showing off your sweater.
Thank you.
They had some cute ones too. Yeah.
Yeah, got that one now, that's the blue one too.
All right. Back in your seat, nothing in your hands. Put your pins down. Kind of sit up on the edge of your seat, or at least sit up in your chair. Hands on your knees. And then go ahead and close your eyes. No wet willies for your neighbors. Trust in the environment. All right, so here's what I want everybody to do. I want you to focus in mentally on this. With your eyes closed, deep breath in, let that out. And I want you to focus on walking up to a very big factory. Now this factory is the factory that you got in your mind. It's a big factory, it's got a conveyor belt. It goes from the one door all the way through the factory, out the other door. There's a dump truck that's just pulled up to this factory. In this dump truck, there's some raw material, about 20 pieces of raw material. And you're backing this dump truck up. All of a sudden, you knew how to drive a dump truck. You back it up, you don't run into anything, you pull the lever and it starts unloading the dump truck. It dumps all the raw material onto the conveyor belt. And then you get out of the dump truck, you walk into the factory and you go to your workstation. And as you're walking up to your workstation, you notice that there's a real big canvas at the top of your workstation. And on that is an unbelievable drawing, as if an artist got into your brain and drew out what your desires are, what you did in your box for your why earlier. Whatever that means to you. See that in that canvas. And then your eyes go down a little bit and you see this conveyor belt that's running through your workstation, and there's a control panel on your workstation. It's got 3 parts to it. There's a light switch on the left, there's a dial in the middle, and there's a lever on the right-hand side. And as you walk up, it senses and knows that you're coming up, and the conveyor belt kicks on, and your raw material that you dumped starts coming to your workstation one at a time. It comes up the conveyor belt and goes onto a little landing site right in front of you, and as you walk up, you see that, and you flip that switch on the left-hand side, and a bright light starts focusing on that raw material. And you start investigating that raw material. You start asking questions about that. You start figuring out, does this raw material want more wealth, more health, more significance, more time freedom? What are their desires? You ask questions of this raw material. You get answers. And then you get the answer. You get the thing that that raw material wants. And you find out how bad they want it. And you move your hand to that dial in the middle and you adjust it between 1 and 10. 1 meaning they don't really want to fix it, and 10 meaning, oh my God, I need this fixed right now. And then after you get done with that, you pull the lever on the right-hand side, and based on the answer of 1 to 10, that raw material gets back on the conveyor belt and it continues on. It either goes to the next workstation, which is mine, or it goes out the exit chute, which tumbles on out into a river that we're polluting behind the factory. Open your eyes. Everybody see their factory? That dump truck with 20, that's what's on your plan on the page. You have 4 of these pieces of paper, you got 20 names. That's where we're gonna start. It's gonna come into the factory, it comes up, you're gonna flip the light switch on, and you're gonna find out what's going on, and it's gonna be about them. And then that dial is gonna figure out and weigh them, and figure out how bad do they want it. And it's up to them, not up to you, it doesn't matter. All you're doing is assessing the situation. And then, if they want it, cool. We pull the lever, and it goes on down to the next workstation, and that's me. Or they don't want it, and okay, that's cool, you keep being you, and we send them on down the river. They got to get back out to their little ocean and their little dinghy with one hand in the water, paddling in circles. That's it. It's real easy. What we don't do is hold up the conveyor belt with one piece forever. Some of y'all are going to get one, and we're going to do an inspection. And we don't go anywhere else with it. Make sure you keep it running. Okay? And where it goes after you is to me. And all that is a very simple text message that you're going to do after having a conversation. Well, yeah, I want to talk to somebody. I'll talk to your guy. How do we set this up? And you're going to tell them it's real simple. All I need you to do is I'm going to send a text message and I'm going to introduce you to them. Or I'm going to send a Facebook Messenger with the 3 of us in there and I'm going to introduce you to them. Okay? And then when that happens, here's the deal. Don't make me look like an idiot. Don't make me introduce you to him and then you don't respond. If you want to fix this, he'll work with you. But don't waste his time and don't make me look like an idiot. That's posturing. We've got the golden goose tucked up underneath our arm, I promise you. They want what we've got, or they don't. And let them know that. And you're going to use this text message to be able to do that. Literally copy and paste it. Change the parentheses and the part that says prospect's name and put their name in that. You'll be surprised why I have to tell you this right now. Copy and paste that, send it on over. Okay?
Is that in the website?
It is. It's on Power Hour, and we'll get you added on that. Make sure that's done. Okay? And for anybody that's not in this, I need y'all to send me a private message or a text message that says, add me to the communication. Okay, let me give you my phone number for everybody that needs this. My phone number is 832-771-0730. And just say, I need to be in the communication channel. And I'll make sure you get in and make sure you can get to where this is being sent out to the whole population. Okay? Once you do this, sometimes some of this raw material gets hung up on the conveyor belt. Kind of gets caught underneath the belt and the little root wheels and just sits there and grinds on it for a little bit. You need to go over, pick it up, set it back on the conveyor belt. Okay? Sometimes we'll set up this chat and they won't respond. They get busy. Who here is busy? All right, it happens, right? So don't build a story. Don't let your terrorists get a hold of you on all the reasons why they didn't respond. You have absolutely no idea what's going on in their life. And it's kind of a pastime for people to make up stories of why people are doing stuff. And they're so damn certain of it too. Well, they just aren't interested. How do you know? Well, they didn't respond. Maybe your Jedi powers are stronger than mine. I don't know. So find out. Check in with them. Hey, and always tie it back to what you think their why is. Hey, just reaching back out to you. I know you were talking about wanting to be able to knock it out of the park with getting some extra money. You don't like your apartment, you ain't making enough, whatever. Your health isn't all that great, your back's still hurting, you're not sleeping real well. Don't forget Mr. Salge here is here to be able to help you. Or whoever, whatever leader you introduce him to. Okay? Everybody clear on this? This is where parts start getting a little hazy on people. It's important for me to get true, honest feedback from y'all. Okay.
I am about the consulting part.
Yep.
But not about the product, because it sounds
Same
like
thing. do the exact same thing on that part. When you get to a point where you can handle that, you'll know when you can handle that, that'll be down the road, then you can take that part over and you can send them to some of our wellness simplified pages and tell testimonies and things like that. When you first get started, don't worry about any of that. We've got a system for that. And as you get around more and more of this, more and more things will click and you'll be able to take that over if you want to. But this works on both sides, health and wealth and significance and time. Any of those things that they're looking for, I got a guy that can help you with that.
How do we let you know that they're just interested in talking?
When you do this part in here,
Yes.
then you can, this is introducing me. Right after that, I want you to introduce them. Who here likes a compliment, a genuine compliment? Give them one. If they got ugly shoes, don't compliment them on their shoes. Okay? Make sure it's genuine. Give a compliment right back and say, this is such and such. Had a great conversation with them the other day at lunch. They were very interested in earning some additional income, and I wanted to put you two together. So that's introducing me, then you introduce them, and give me a heads up, and if you forget to do that, I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Get me in the game. Some of you have extrapolated, your terrorist got a hold of you and said, there's no way he can handle all these people doing all this. I promise you I can. I have tools to help me, okay? I've got so many processes in place, you cannot overwhelm me. I hope some of you go, challenge accepted. Tina Marie's like, we're gonna test this sucker out. Load test it, please do. Bring as much as you can. Did that help? You got it now, okay? Any other questions on this? Please, this is we're hitting the road here. Don't walk out of here because you didn't want to speak up in front of everybody. Yes, sir.
Another thing with this is that when you do get that person stuck in the conveyor belt, you then want to make sure that you go in this three-way text and ping them, hey, I thought you were really interested in learning more about this, or hey, I thought you really wanted to know more about the business, and then you send them that information, or if you don't want to send them and put them out on blast, send them a private message, right? On the side, hey, I really thought you wanted to talk to so-and-so, and remind them of their why. This why is very important, that you get that crucial, you get that knocked down. If you don't have that why, it kicks you in the butt. I can promise you that. So you don't move forward until you find out that why, especially with the business partner. It's crucial.
Yeah, it really, really is. A lot of times, I'll give you some of the pitfalls that happen, some of the potholes that you'll run into. You just have that chat. It's like when we were doing the why, you get that first level, that's usually not enough. You need to dig a little deeper, get a little bit more, so that there's an emotional attachment to what they're talking about. Now, you don't have to go all the way down 7 levels with them, but the better you can do that, the better it will be. Because what will happen is, you haven't really touched anything. They just gave you some words out of their head to placate you. What are you looking to achieve? I want to make some more money. Cool, you need to talk to my guy. Some of you jump too quick to that, okay? So make sure that you get that sunk in, that you know that there's an emotional attachment to what it is they're looking for. And then once you're able to be able to do that, and that will then allow them to communicate with me. A lot of times what will happen is they won't communicate because they really weren't that interested. And that's okay. Sometimes, man, I had a great conversation and they didn't really, do anything more after that. That's cool. Pull the lever, send them down the river. Let them go do what they're doing. Go through more people faster. But make sure you have those connections like David was just talking about. Yes? Keep them coming. This is good. Because I promise you, there's 10 other people in this room that have the same question that love you right now.
So the 7-day path that I was helping, right? Go and try it. Wouldn't that have come before this or not necessarily?
I'm not a big fan personally of getting to that right away, of just handing out that 7-day pack. I want to be able to get a little bit further along. Now, if you like using those and you want to pass those out, you can. But find out what's going on with them first.
Well, these are all people I know, like I know very well.
Okay, good deal. From that perspective, you can. If they're why, if when you're filling out the check marks on there, it's about health,
Yes.
and you know it's about health, you can go ahead and go down a little bit further with that and do that.
Okay.
Yeah. When you start feeling comfortable with talking about the product, I'm okay with doing that. Just make sure you find out. Here's another pitfall. Because you are so interested in the product and you feel more comfortable doing the product side, you think everybody else on the planet is just interested on the product side. That's making it about you. That's your fear coming out, and that's you taking the easy way out because it's easier on you. You need to find out what they want. And if they're interested in wealth more than they are on the health side, go with that. Don't say, well, you also are interested in health too, right? I see that happen a lot. So if you know for sure and that's their thing, go with it. And when you feel comfortable with the health side, keep going.
However, we still send them to you to sign up.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Until you feel comfortable doing that part too.
Okay.
So the way this starts off is this is very simple. We're in the car together. I'm pretty much doing everything for you, or the leadership in our group will. Okay? And I've got a lot of leaders that I built in this thing. That's why we're able to handle everything you can throw at us. So as that goes on, then we'll start teaching you more and more and more that you feel comfortable doing. And if you don't, no worries, we got a hand. Okay? But we start at the simple, easy path, and then we can show you more as we go. Good?
Great.
Other questions? These are good questions, Liz. Good job. Anybody else? Okay. So here's what I want to do. It's 9:03. Before your terrorist gets a hold of you and starts going, oh my God, it's too late. These people are going to be asleep. I don't want to bug them. Da, 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 da. Here's what I want you to do. For the names that are on your list, we're going to reach out to some people. We're going to have conversations with some people. I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you do it in a text message or in Facebook Messenger so that you can do the written word. It'll give you time and you don't have to be on the spot on the phone talking to somebody. Okay? The other reason for doing it this way is this communication channel that we're using is not always real time. In fact, most of the time it's not. Have you ever sent a text and somebody did not respond in 13 seconds? Okay, good. Y'all understand how text messages work. Somebody, well, I can't talk right now. It's a text message, man. It's cool. So I want you to send a message to some people on your list. Here's what I want you to start with. Hello. That's our script for tonight. Hello. Everybody good? It's Hello. That's the extent of my scripts that you're going to receive from me. This is a conversation. Y'all all had them before. So reach out to somebody on your list. Reach out to somebody and ask, hey, how are you doing? Make it about them. Have a genuine interest in them. Now this is where I lose half the room when I do this. Okay? And I don't like failing. I want y'all to have results. This is the Jade Factory. I gotta make y'all Jades. I can't make you Jades if you don't get in the car, turn it on, and stomp on the gas. Okay? So it's time to get in the car, turn it on, and stomp on the gas, and say hello to somebody. Don't take the easy way out. Don't look at me and say, well, I'm a sapphire in the business already, and I don't need to talk to anybody. I've already talked to 17 people today. We're gonna make it 18. Okay? So grab your phone, send a message. Yes, sir.
If we get a customer tonight, can I drive a Mercedes?
Yes, you can. 100%.
Let's stop on the gas.
Absolutely. It goes fast.
Where is it? You go 99.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody confused on what we're doing? Is she packing up?
She's already, that's exactly.
What in the world? She's like, oh, he spotted me. I'm gonna act like I'm texting. Oh my Jones, you've been killing it on customers. Let's get another one. I'm gonna throw something. So you put your backpack on. I thought we were gonna have to talk. Okay. We barred the door at this point. So let me incentivize you. Whoever gets the most responses, we've got 3 books. I got 2 I'm going to throw in. We got 5 books we're going to give away called GoPro. These are nice books. These are like the Bible of what we do. We're going to have 5 of these to give away, and for the winner, is going to get a book, and they're going to get a whatever size shirt that is. Would you grab that shirt behind you, Valerie? So you don't have this directly behind you. They're gonna get a nice
Extra large?
shirt with Kyani on it, an Adidas shirt, sport shirt, and that's gonna be added in there too. Okay? So there's 5 books at stake along with a shirt. So 5 winners. So the top 5, and here's how we're gonna count it. By people that respond to you. I want a conversation started. I don't want it to be about Kyani. I want it to be a conversation that you start. I'm gonna look at timestamps too, Mr. Jones. I saw you grin.
No.
What are you gonna say?
Is this brand new fresh people off the list, or is this anybody we've been in contact with to re-engage them up and going?
I would like this to be new engagements.
Okay.
New engagements. People that you have not talked to, for you veterans. People that you have not talked to. We're gonna run this for 22 minutes till 9:30, okay? So whoever can get the most responses back, and I need you to write them down in some fashion so that we can look, and then we will verify these. I want to make sure everybody feels it's fair. Any questions on what we're doing right now? Anybody lost? Raise your hand or let me know, I'll come to you. This goes for y'all on the Zoom as well. Y'all want some music playing in the background? Yeah? Man, I like it when the room gets quiet like this.
We're busy.
It's good. You shut up, I'm trying to do stuff.
I haven't heard you say that before.
No?
No, you've not said that before. That you shoved them out the door to the river.
Drop them out. Drop them out to the river.
I just love it.
All right, let's get some numbers out. I heard 6. Got 6? 6 people have responded to you. 11. Can anybody beat 11? 11 people responded. It's good. It's good. Just for now, this is a secondary number that I want everybody to share with me. How many did you reach out to? Throw out some numbers for me.
What do you mean?
That you reached out and said, hey, hello, or hi. Or 6.
4, 2,
How many did you send out to? 5. All right.
25 and 14.
So we got about 30 people here. All right, so let's bring it back in. We got about 30 people here. If everybody just sent out 5, that's 150 people we just started up.
I just went up to 6.
6? 151 people that we were. What I want you to gather is the power of what that does. You planted seeds. Now, some of these have already sprouted. How many did you reach out to, Candace?
25.
She reached out to 25 people.
She's got fast.
And she got 11 responded. 13 responded. Some of y'all reached out to 5 and you got 2 to respond. You notice how to do that math there. How do you get more people to respond? Send it to more people. Candace got in the car and barely got it in drive. She was already pushing on the gas pedal. And here's the deal. That's cool if you won't go that fast. Some of you just got in the car for the first time and you were busy adjusting the mirrors and trying out the radio station. That's cool, and that's okay. The fact is, you did reach out to somebody. Did anybody here not get a single response from anybody? There's going to be a couple of them. Yeah, nobody responded yet. Do you have any doubt that those people will respond later though?
No,
They'll respond. You don't care right now because you're pissed because you didn't want to vote. I understand. They let you down again. It's okay, that's your terrorist. The point of why we do this, and I want you to get this is very, very important. You took action, and that's what you can control. That's all you can control. As they go through, you backed your dump truck up, you dropped them on the conveyor belt, and you started flipping light switches on them as they're coming by. That's all we do. Remember the important part that I said. There's some of them you're going to pull the lever on and send them downriver. Now here's what's going to be really interesting. That number that you're going to send downriver is most likely going to be higher than the ones that are coming out of the factory as either a customer or a business partner. Let me say that again because I want you all to see this and understand this. The majority are going to go out and go down the river. Here's a picture, a design that we're working on of the factory. You got your dump truck, you got your raw material going onto the conveyor belt, you got your light switch, you got your dial. This is going to be a lever. He didn't understand what the heck I was talking about, but we're working on it. This is my little river. We're working on that too. And then out comes the Jades of the factory.
Cool.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. I like that. So what we've got to do is we got to keep this dump truck showing up, putting raw material in the conveyor belt. What y'all just did tonight is what we do. This is the factory. They're late.
That's my liver.
They're my tardy's little. So.
We're going to get an absence.
So the big thing is y'all did what we do. You did the work. Y'all all have left here knowing how to do this business because that's what we do. Now, there's going to be times when you're out here working on this that you're going to freak out and get bent out of shape and it's not going to work out how you want it to work out and la 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 la, all this other stuff is going to go on. Know that that's going to happen. But always come back to this night in this room and remember this. You had an experience of how this goes. I can do this. I can drive this car. You're going to get stuck in traffic. There's going to be detours. All that's going to happen. But you know how to drive the car now. Now, the rest of it, moving forward, is how bad do you want to get there?
Yes.
If you don't dig deep enough to figure out where you want to go, your foot's going to come off the gas pedal. You're not even going to get back in the car after y'all leave tonight. That will happen to some people. It's just how it is. It's the numbers. I get it. My job is to keep beating on you on that why. This is easy. Well, y'all did, that's the easy part. How hard, did anybody pull a hamstring or anything sending these text messages?
Spring the thumb.
But spring the thumb, make sure you stretch those out. Some of you have been working on concrete all day and your hands a little boogered up, but you still got through it. This is the easiest thing you're ever going to do, ever. You're helping other people. Wherever we go, we impact the world. We build water wells. We feed starving families. We make people feel better. We give them their health back. And we show them how to make a stupid amount of money. This car is awesome. You just got to get in it. And you got to have a destination that you want to take. That makes sense?
That's another stupid question I have.
What you got?
I don't even know. Is there somewhere we can read how you do that?
Do what?
The car.
How do you get the car for Sapphire? She's enough of this metaphysical car. No, real. Yes.
Is it written somewhere?
It is, but the best place to go to that is on Monday at 9 p.m. I want you to ask me that question in that forum for Power Hour, and I'll draw it out.
Okay.
And that's where all these questions, because there are no stupid questions, and I truly do mean that. Okay? I want you to keep asking me these questions, and people say that, I want you to feel me here. I want you to keep asking. Because until you can drive this car, I got to stay in the passenger seat with you. I want to drive faster. I want you driving this thing 121 miles an hour, irritate everybody in line as you're blowing past them, going where you want to go. So keep asking these questions. Keep asking these questions and keep asking these questions until you get it. Because even though you got it, I bet you somebody else ain't got it yet. And that's what Power Hour's for. Mondays, Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Zoom. And we record them if you're busy, you can't make it. But you get so much more out of it if you come and attend live. Which means get on your computer or on your phone. Okay? Good?
Yeah.
Excellent. Any other questions while we're here? Was this helpful for anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Does anybody right now feel that they don't know what to do still? And that happens sometime, and I'm good with that. Anybody not sure what they should do when they leave tonight? Cool. All right. Good session. So here's what we're going to do. We got to figure out who won. All right.
Who won?
11. Anybody beat 11? We've got 2 on the phone we've got a 9 and we got a...
Well, 11 won to 13, I believe.
Yeah.
We got 13. We've got...
And the 11 is that
Probably
they've
20
come
now.
back, communicated back and forth.
Correct. That they've reached out to you.
Who got 11?
Betty got 9. Jamie got 14.
Yeah.
Jamie got 14. Who got... Anybody beat 14? You got 13?
I had a good one.
17 responded to you. These are people that have come back and said, hey, how you doing? Nice.
All right.
Can anybody beat that number?
What do you got, Candy?
Very good.
13?
Very good. All right, so you get a shirt and you get a book. So grab that shirt. Congratulations. Hopefully it fits.
Just share it with someone.
I got the book ready.
And you already got the book? Why don't you... Oh, you got it. Fantastic. Well done. I love it. All right. Huh? Do that. Give it to somebody on your team.
Yeah, do it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep coming around. Pass it over either way. Congratulations. Well done. All right. Next. So we've got that. Then we've got 14. What were you? 13? All right. So we've got a book going to Jamie. We got a book going to Candace. We got anybody beat 13?
6.
Can anybody beat 9? What you got?
11?
11? Excellent. Anybody beat 11? We got a book to Mr. David Jones. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think that was number 5. 5. Yes. All right. We've got our winners. Congratulations, y'all. So here's how we wrap it up. Y'all do not have to go home. In fact, I'd love for y'all to stick around, chat, meet people, get some stories from people. This is an important part. When I first got started in network marketing, I was like, man, why do I want to stick around and talk to people that are already in the business? I want to go talk to people that are not in the business so I can build my team. What you want to do is build the relationships here in this room because you're going to be able to help each other. You're going to be able to answer questions for each other. You're going to be able to have this person talk to that person, or they've got something that you can relate to. Maybe you do this type of business and you know somebody else and they're in that same type of business, you can help that out because they can relate to you. Anybody in the software field, I can relate to them. Anybody in real estate, I can relate to them. Anybody in network marketing, I can relate to them. And so by that, that's a good way to be able to have those communications. So definitely stick around, chat with people, meet some new people, and then if some of you got to go, absolutely. But we'll be here chatting and talking and discussing ideas till the last person leaves. But this is the official end of our Jade Factory for this evening. We're going to knock off the Zoom. Thank you guys very much that attended remotely. And thank you all for coming. And we will see you at the next event.